Anything you want to ask your dad or remind him about? Or?
Well, I don't know. I mean, when was the first time you brought me down to the armories? Was probably just before the school year started in 1986.
I remember taking you down to the armories because I wanted to join
the Pipes and Drums.
Pipes and Drums.
Yep.
And being in the Cadet Corps. I dropped you off and left you there.
Oh no, you walked us in. You walked me and
that's right.
brought a friend down. You walked us in, took us to the pipe major's office. I think.
That's right.
It was Bob Henderson was the pipe major at the time, and the other ex-Black Watch pipe major guy, Harry Brown. He signed us up for the regiment, and then after that, I became a cadet.
That's right.
I did my basic in 1990, Montexino platoon, and then I was with the regiment until the year 2000, so I was in for 11 years. 10 or 11 years, something like that. But most of my time was musical. I was in the pipes and drums, and I think my proudest memory, I think, was the Lethbridge tattoo, if you can believe it. You remember that when you were with the Legion? You were down as the inspector for the Legion. The Legion tattoo, and
that's right.
You did the inspection. You were on the dais when I did the march past. That was good. It was good memories. I remember you standing up straight, snapping the high five. Good times.
Not yawning.
Well, I didn't catch you yawning much anyway. But I don't know. I think an important thing to talk about for me, I think, would be the. Everybody talks about the bond you get in the regiment, the regimental family.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's more important for us, I think, is to have my dad in the unit with me. It was good. Jamie followed you into law. I kind of followed you into the army. I don't know if that was the right decision or not, but here we are. Seemed to be the good thing to do at the time. Good memories.
I think it was. Yep.
And the regimental bond and the family bond really goes a long way when you share certain history, certain trials. We're the only ones in the family that can say we've been gassed, carried guns, dug holes. I just remembered stories from the old man too, sitting around the table after a couple scotches. Stop me if you don't want me to tell any of these stories, but
you're out of control now.
We were one night. We were talking earlier about the relationships between the regiments, and there's always sort of the brotherly competition between regiments in the same armories. And I remember you telling a story after a few belts one night that you challenged the colonel of the King's Own because some exercise didn't go right, or I forget the details, but you said that I bet you if we drove down to the tank barns right now, you can get a single one of your tanks started. So he took you up on the bet. After night in the mess, they call a cab. They drive out to Curry. They slave cable a couple of Shermans together, fire it up, and away you guys go for a ride down the range. Do you want to take it from here, or do you want me to keep going?
That's enough to get me hanged right now.
Oh no, the hanging stories are later. Anyway, who did you run into? You finally got the tank rolling down the streets, and of course you said every MP in the world showed up to convince you that it was a bad idea. And they
won their argument.
But what got you out of it though was that the CO of the King's Own came out of the driver's hatch and fell into the arms of one of the MPs there, and they were both in Korea together.
That's right.
Bob, Frank, oh hey, get out of here! Yeah, have a nice night. And that was the end of that story.
Saved our life.
That's a great story.
Yeah. Well, hopefully ones that don't get us into too much trouble. But, infantry tends to kind of get you into trouble sometimes.
And you got one more that comes to mind?
Oh, there's lots of stories. Anything about, if we're ever going to tell the story about the colors, Dad, now's the time. I think Gordy Malcolm was the pipe major at the time. Or was it, no, I can't remember. But anyway, maybe I'll save you the details, but I just remember asking my dad, what are these flags in the basement, Dad?
Oh, yeah.
And it turned out to be the regimental colors of the Calgary Highlanders. Honorably rescued for a short period of time, but when they were discovered to be missing, somebody had called you up and you just happened to know exactly where they were, right?
So why would they have been at your home?
That's a good question. I don't know. I remember them being there.
There's more details here, I'm quite sure.
There had been a meeting of the officers, and it was during that time about the battle group, where you were put in cells, remember, and you referred to it. You, Sanofsky, and the adjutant. And you said they took the troops away. That's when we had a discussion as to whether or not we were going to surrender the colors. And
Oh, that's right.
So you didn't surrender the colors?
Didn't surrender the colors, took them with me.
So that was like an act of rebellion, defiance?
It's a natural act to save them from being confiscated, for lack of a better term.
Justice, maybe. Well, they were safely returned
Safely returned, yep.
back to. It's a good story, Dad.
It's a good one to have on video, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully there
It's
wasn't too much
almost a
detail.
hanging story.
That's right. Any final thoughts from either one of you before we wrap it up?
I don't know, any words of advice to give to future COs? Any advice for singing Glen Warple around the piano?
I wish I had $50 every time I played that.
Okay, I'm just curious about that. So Glen Warple, was that something that you sang in the regiment from the time that you joined?
I did.
Was it a song, do you know, that the regiment sing that during the Second World War? Does it go back that far?
Yep. Yes.
I believe so. There wasn't even a time that the Pipes and Drums played it.
Oh, yeah.
We marched into the mess playing Glen Warble one time, under Pipe Major Rhodes.
Vince, do you have any sort of final comment that you want to make before I stop? Is there anything that you haven't had a chance to say that you want to say to me or to Mike?
I'm very proud, of course, of my son joining the regiment. And I guess that's the proudest thing in my life, is the appointment of a commanding officer of the Calgary Highlanders. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was the crowning glory, I guess, the crowning event in my now 90 years. And I think that's it.
Great. Well, thank you very much to both of you.
Long live the regimental family.
Thanks, Mike.
Amen.
Thank you.